So George Romero's canned Resident Evil film is actually getting a documentary. So George Romero's Resident Evil film was actually going to be made in the late 90s after the hype that occurred with the first initial release of Resident Evil in 1996, but according to an article by Game Rant, Capcom canned the project. So news of this Resident Evil documentary film about the Resident Evil film that was canned in the late 90s was actually just recently announced at a film festival called Creature Feature. And according to that same Game Rant article, the project will actually be headed by Jason Bearford, who is actually a production assistant for Romero, and Brandon Salisbury, who will direct. Now, I actually will be checking this documentary out when it releases because I find those kinds of things really interesting. You know, it's very weird to think that we could have had a Resident Evil movie all like that was even before the Milla Jovovich movies. But what I find interesting about this canned Resident Evil film is that, you know, if it had released, would we have gotten the Milla Jovovich movies? And also, would it have been better? Now, personally for me, I'm actually not too familiar with George Romero's work. I did watch bits and pieces of Dawn of the Dead and I think Night of the Living Dead, but I was kind of too little, and I'm pretty sure I watched like bits and pieces on TV when it was on, or I remember seeing it at a friend's house, but it was just very, you know, it's very blurry for me. I don't remember exactly, which, you know what, to be honest, I should go back and watch those movies since they are considered horror classics. I actually did watch the Zack Snyder reboot of Dawn of the Dead, but like I said, I don't really remember too much of the OG one, the original Dawn of the Dead. But what I do know is that it actually did give inspiration to the RE creator, Shinji Mikami, to actually make the OG Resident Evil game. And that's actually something that he goes over in the interview that he did with the Silent Hill creator. And if you guys would like to see that, then click this video. Anyways, thanks for watching.